I apologize for the delay. This year, it gave us a new lesson in what happens when you're interacting with wildlife. That's exactly what these peregrine falcons are. So it is a big day here at the Rachel Carson State Office Building. It's Falcon Banding Day. And so we are going to be working here with the Game Commission. And my name is Bert Myers. I am the Director of Environmental Education for Department of Environmental Protection. I have a workmate, Megan Lehman, is helping with me with the statistics. And we also have the Game Commission here. Let me introduce Patti Barber. She's the biologist that will be handling the birds. And I want to welcome all the DEP, DCNR employees that are here, our watch and rescue volunteers who do wonderful work, and the entire environmental community and those that are joining us online and on Facebook. So we've been collaborating, the Game Commission and DEP, on this project since the mid-1990s, and the first banding occurred in 2001. Since that time, 83 hatchlings have been banded here at the Rachel Carson State Office Building. That makes this the most prolific nest site for peregrine falcons in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And it is from the dedication of the Game Commission, DEP's commitment, and the watch and rescue volunteers that many have been returned to the wild. So the reason we were late today, one of the young falcons has trichomoniasis. And this is a disease they get from eating pigeons, rock dove, which are non-native species, and this is a non-native vector type thing, and the one bird has it. So that bird is actually on its way to Red Creek Rehabilitation Center in Schuylkill County right now for care. The other three appear to be healthy. We did band one and put it back on the nest. That keeps the adults happy. As the former biologist used to say, peregrine falcons can't count. And so hopefully they'll calm down a little bit. We'll process these other two birds and we'll return them to the ledge today. And we will complete the banding for 2022. I did want to touch on a couple things real quick. That is the purpose of banding. It is ideally the individual identification of birds make possible studies of dispersal and migration, behavior and social structure, lifespan and survival rate. For example, over here is our until last year, the dominant male on this nest site. He was banded WV, a remarkable bird, was 18 years old and sired over 80 peregrine falcons at this nest location. So an amazing bird. And how did we know this lifespan? Because it was banded as a young bird. So it's just a matter of doing the math. It also helps with toxicology and disease research. And in this case, we are seeing some indication of trichomoniasis. It also is an indicator as reproductive success and population growth. The peregrine falcon, believe it or not, was removed from the federal endangered species list in 1999 and was removed from the state threatened list last year in 2021. That is a remarkable achievement and a testament to the reintroduction program. And have no worries, the falcons are still protected by law, and that is the Migratory Bird Act and, of course, the Pennsylvania Game and Wildlife Code. So they are still a protected species. That hasn't changed. There are going to be seen some temporary tape putting on the bands. That allows us for short-term identification of the fledgling when they start flying for the first time. It's very key for us to be able to see and identify the different fledglings so we know which one we're dealing with. So they'll be either banded red, green, yellow, or blue. And I think, let's see, we have... I did also want to mention that the bands do not injure the birds, but are designed specifically by size for specific species. For example, falcon bands can become in two sizes, one for the female, which is larger, and the smaller for the male. During this banding, you're going to see that they are weighed. We're trying to determine what sex they are and give it an overall health check and any treatment that might be able to be done for insects. So with that, let's get into the actual banding. And Patti Barber is going to come in here and get started with the Game Commission. And welcome, Patti. It's nice to be working with you again.
Thanks. It's good to be back. Oh, that sounds strange. It's good to be back in the building and banding the peregrines. I just thought I'd take a second before we take any of the chicks out of the boxes I should warn everyone, they're going to be noisy when they're out of the boxes. From their perspective, we're big, scary predators, and so it's not surprising that they're upset. But as soon, just like they're calm now, as soon as we put them back in the boxes, they're going to calm down. And once they're back on the ledge, they're going to behave just like they normally do and have their parents taking care of them. Bert mentioned the bands. These are the two different sizes. They're going to look the same for all of you out there, but the bands in my right hand here are one size smaller than the bands in my left, and so these are basically male bands and female bands. The color bands they're going to get have an alphanumeric on them. You probably can't read it from where you are, and in fact, they can be hard to read in the field. That's why we put the colored tape on the Fish and Wildlife Service band, so that especially when our volunteers are looking at the birds, if they can't actually read this number, they can at least say, oh, that's blue fledgling or red fledgling, and so it helps us keep track of them. Beyond that, I promise you there's nothing we're going to do that hurts the birds. We're essentially putting a bangle bracelet on them. It just does not come off. They will wear it just like the mount here of the old male. They'll wear it the rest of their life, and no matter where they set up a breeding territory, if they're in Maine or West Virginia, as long as someone sees them and reports it, we'll know where they end up and how they progress for the rest of their lives. All right, did I miss any of the basics?
Doing great,
Excellent. I'm just as out of practice as everybody else, as far as, even when I was handling the birds, I'm like, wow, it's been a while.
Yes.
So we'll take this one step at a time. Let's see, this one feels lucky, so let's just start with this little guy right here. Let's see who we've got. I'm probably going to need both of you guys to help restrain the bird. So that's the other thing. We're going to keep them as still as possible just to minimize how long it takes us to handle them. Are you going to take it out? Well, we're all just going to do the best we can. Just get a good hold of it, and I'll move the box once you've got it and lay it down on its back. And you hear that the calling starts right away. The first thing we're going to do is measure the leg. Again, we want to just be sure we're putting the right size band on this chick. So see, that 6 looks like it fits just fine. The 7A is a little large. So this band is going to be 1126-08082. And the color band will be 02 black over BZ green. Pardon me?
I think you say
BZ, that's correct.
Okay, I think that was the last.
Well, but that's 01 and that's 02. Yep, they're sequential numbers because we're human beings. We like things in order, and it lets us get as many combinations as possible when we work through these. And that's important, like with peregrine bands, for example. Everyone in the East is using similar bands, and we've actually worked through several colors already. For a while, we used black-red bands, and so we've moved on to the black-green. So let's see here now. We're going to put this Fish and Wildlife Service band on, and again, this one is really difficult to read unless you have it in your hand. We're going to put it, though, but it's the only bird that anyone has banded with an aluminum band. This will be the only bird with this number. I'm getting old. I'm going to have to start doing this with my reading glasses on.
Yeah, you is it.
So these Fish and Wildlife Service bands that the birds are getting are actually lock-on bands. Traditionally, bird bands just, the ends meet even. They just butt against each other. And peregrines are just too strong. They'll take off their bands if they don't have this locking flange that goes over and prevents the bird from pulling it off. But that means they take a little extra finagling to get them on just right. We want to make sure that the ends all line up properly, that it's closed completely. We don't want to risk that the bird can get a toe caught or get it caught on some sort of vegetation when it's out moving around. There's not a lot of vegetation in the city, but hopefully this bird will actually end up on a cliff somewhere where it might run into some sort of vegetation. Could I have a colored strip? This will be the blue chick. So again, I'm just putting this strip of blue tape on the Fish and Wildlife Service band. And it will mean that someone, as long as this bird's still in the area, they can identify it by the tape and they don't actually have to read the number. Now, once this bird leaves Harrisburg, that wouldn't necessarily be true. In a couple weeks, I'll be banding peregrines in Pittsburgh. There will probably be a blue chick in Pittsburgh, so that would be, could cause confusion. There we go. The second color band that we're going to put on is actually a rivet band, so it attaches in a different way. But it does allow us to have these numbers on, actually they're on the band 3 times they're repeated, and it just means that you don't have to see all the way around the band to identify the bird. All right, Sean, grab that leg. All right. This is a very well-behaved bird. So far, it hasn't shredded my gloves. You guys don't know this, but upstairs, they were shredding gloves right and left. All right, I can see while I'm standing here doing this that the eyes look good on this chick. They look just fine. I know you're upset with me. The feet look good as well. We checked upstairs because of the trichomoniasis, and I know the throat's good on this one as well. Let me check the vent here. Where's his vent? There it is. That looks fine. I'll do ears while we're at it. His ears are closed. Let's see, let's check your keel. The keel feels fine. Oh, you might have a full crop, though. No, I don't think so. No. All right, we're going to look at the body now. They can get body parasites like feather lice and things, just like any of your pets can. Those look good. It's fine. And I think everything but weight so far. Oh, tail. Yep, let's measure the tail. We're measuring how much of the central tail feather has come out of the sheath. That's just as the birds age. That's what you see that 23. Oh, that one's broken a little bit. We'll say 23 and 19. You might make just a note, say broken, because the short one's actually broken. Wait, all right, their favorite. Which pocket did I put my bag in? Oh, it's right here, not in a pocket. All right. You're almost done. We'll say 35. Yep. All right.
Okay, babe. Oh, don't piss at us. There you go.
Got it. He is 660. All right, so this little guy's all done. We're gonna put him, I think it's a male. I didn't leave anything off the list, did I? Okay, good. All right. All right, and on to the next victim. You can see he's back in there nice and quiet. For those of you that have been here before, you'll probably notice we're all wearing gloves. We're really just trying to be cautious because of avian influenza. There's not much concern of exposing the chicks within the same nest. They're already exposed to whatever is going on in their nest. But we want to be sure, for example, like all my equipment, I'll actually clean when I leave, so I won't go to another nest and unintentionally cross-infect anybody. Ready? Oh, you could, that would be very nice. Well done. Sorry, they're more service-oriented than I am.
Oh, you were feisty.
There you go. There you go. Hold her up that way so everybody can see her. At least I'm guessing it's going to turn out to be a female. There we go. And while it can be a little distressing for people when they hear, you know, the reality is we want an energetic bird that's going to fight to survive. Because as we know, peregrines have had a hard time. Yeah, see, we're not going to do 6. We're going to do the 7A there. And we want birds that are going to do well in the landscape. And so having that extra energy, being confident and willing to call like this is actually a good sign. The color band that's going to go on this bird is 2-5 black. That one's not sequential, I realize that, but CA, as in California, CA. Green, yep. And the Fish and Wildlife Service band is 1947-47104. Okay? Okay, right leg. That's all right. There we go.
There you go.
Just hang on there. Just hold on.
You're spicy. You're spicy, girl. Oh, you're hot, too.
There you go. Give it one more pinch and try to round it out a little bit. What's that?
It's still spinning freely, isn't it?
Well, it is, but
It didn't make that nice clipping sound. when it came together.
no, it's a little compressed sideways, and I want it to round out.
I think your mom can hear you.
That's better.
As long as it's been freely,
Yeah.
I think you're good. And it can't come over the toe.
Yeah, that looks, you think?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I like that second opinion. All right. Unfortunately, it's a man-made product, and it's a little finicky. Next tape, please. All right, so this will be the Green Fledgling.
Maybe the Irish one.
That's right.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Wow, it's a lot quieter. when
She
it's
likes green. We'll take it. All right. Look over here.
Hey, look up here.
Her eyes and throat look good.
You're giving us your best throat angle.
Did I give you guys this combination? 25 black over CA green.
Oh. Is there something in there? Pretty cool. You should try that out loud. What's it called?
The biologist up here close looking at the birds wanted me to remind everybody, look on the camera and you'll be able to see up close that in the nares of the peregrine there's a special structure. And that structure actually helps them. Think about the changes in air pressure when they dive from high heights down on something. And that's really important for them succeeding and not, the pressure not causing them a lot of problems. All right, let's see. We're going to measure the tail here quickly. I can tell you her feet look good. Let's see. There we go. Hang on.
Oh, it's like a chimpanzee.
30.
There you go.
The tail feathers are 30 and 31.
Oh, you didn't even have to, this is not the longest.
Sometimes, but remember, it's the amount of the pin that has come off, has shredded. Let's see. We need to do ears. Here. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, gosh. Yeah,
I
what is she
know.
doing? You're a fighter.
I can't find her ear.
Oh, there.
I think it's because it's closed. We'll call her ears closed. You can have that. Her keel looks good. Sorry, as does her vent. All right, let's look at her body. I think that's the one left. Oh, she's got bugs. So we're going to essentially put flea powder on her. This flea powder is a derivative of chrysanthemum, so it's not something we're worried about getting on her. You wouldn't want to breathe a lot of it in. It just, because any fine powder is not good for your lungs. But as far as, you could eat it if you, oh, we're still inclined. All right, get her on the other side. I know, it's not fun. There we go. All right, so I think other than weight, she's done. Did we get everything else? Okay. She wants to check the number? Okay.
Is that a 1? You can make it out. Is that a 1 at the beginning?
Oh, at the beginning, yeah. It starts with a 1. It should be the same prefix as the other. So the sizes, the females are 1947.
Okay.
The male bands.
Yeah, so both the ladies should be 1, right? I have 7.
Oh yeah. Sorry, that should be 1. Yes. Sorry, fixing the data before it gets saved inappropriately. Let's double check this, make sure the bag weight hasn't changed. It's always a risk between birds because sometimes they leave little presents in there. Looks like it's still 35.
Oh, don't sound like a chicken.
I'll leave that hooked on there, actually. All right, head first.
Whoa, it is spicy. Hang on, babe.
That's the plus of head first. She doesn't really want to grab hold of anything. All right, and this one is... Hey, Sue, can I get your hands under the bag just so it doesn't, because I'm going to have to let go quickly to see. Oh, no. Let it down. Yeah. Hover. That's right. Or reverse hover. $92. 920. Sorry. At a decimal point. 920. Yes. All right. So she's all done. Did everybody get the pictures they wanted? Yeah? Okay. We're going to dump her back in here then.
No, let's get some more pictures.
You want some more pictures? Okay. Oh, you can take her. That's all right. You don't want to.
Put her in the box and then take her out?
Would that make you more comfortable?
Yes.
Because I was going to say, I can hold the bag, slide it down her. Here, let me show you what I mean.
Oh, I got it. But what about her feet?
Well, if you get a good hold of her, just keep your fingers next to her body and she won't get you with her feet. Okay. You got her?
She's got my hand, but that's okay.
You sure? You either need to put your fingers down lower so that closer to her body, away from her leg. So put your little pinky right here. Do you mind? Underneath. There you go.
On the other side.
Yep. There you go. She'll go back in here when she comes back. I don't want to leave that in there. So as soon as we're done here, she's going to go back out on the ledge. Like I said, she's going to calm down really quickly and actually work her way back to the nest box. And I expect her parents will have another meal for her very soon. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask? Yes, ma'am. Oh, we had 2 and 2. 2 and 2, yep. Sorry, after I take them out of my hands, I forget. That's why we write it down.
Okay, I think we're good.
All right, good. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for coming. I want to echo some of Bert Bert said as far as we would not have peregrines here if it were not, you can put it right back in there if you're done. You don't have to hold it. If it weren't for the dedication of everyone. I mean, we made the changes that were necessary for them to come back. We banned DDT. We passed the Endangered Species Act. We passed the Clean Water Act. And those seem like they were kind of far away and not directly critical, but those pieces had to be in place for the recovery of the birds. And so everyone that supported any of that legislation, everyone that conserves water now, you know, we're all contributing our part, both for peregrines and for all the other species that share the world with us. Thanks.
Thank you, Patty. And the other connection I did have to mention, I think it's just a remarkable coincidence that we're in a building that's named for Pennsylvania's own Rachel Carson. This building was named after a woman who, after the publication of her landmark work, Silent Spring, she woke up government and industry not necessarily happy about it, on the evils and the impacts of DDT on wildlife. And that was really what spawned the environmental movement in many ways, and led to the founding of the Environmental Protection Agency in the early 70s and the eventual banning of DDT within the United States. Since that time, because of work like that done by the Game Commission here in Pennsylvania, we now have a thriving population of osprey, of bald eagle, and peregrine falcons too. And it's just a remarkable coincidence that this building is named in her honor. So I wanted to mention that, and I wanted to thank everybody for joining us that was joined us virtually or in person. I apologize that we were a little late today, but as I mentioned before, when you're dealing with wildlife, one never knows. And lastly, to the Falcon Camp community, those that are watching online, those that are our fans from around the world, keep on watching because fledgling's next. It's going to be exciting. Thank you.